What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So the other day, when I moved Pennywise over here, I had to move Berserker right there until I could figure out what I need to do for my AVP setup. Because I really do like the way Pennywise looks over there. And I think, we can really consolidate AVP to those three setups. And have horror going into the underworld blade and creatures setup. So in a perfect world, I'd probably actually prefer Chucky right there and those two, like over here, but I don't know if I'll do that. Because I can't fit Chucky all in one display, like that one right there. But we're here to talk about the AVP setup. So right now, I got Prime 1 Predator, which I absolutely love. I think it's nearly perfect. It just has one incredibly huge flaw. It's overscaled. You put it next to any other 1/3 in my entire collection, and it is extremely apparent this is overscaled. You put this next to Darkseid, it still looks overscaled. Because you know how big he's supposed to be. Predator, yeah, he's huge. You see him next to Arnold. Arnold's like 6'1" or something. And he's a huge dude, no doubt. But he is not this big. Prime 1, whoever decided, let's make this almost half scale, I wish they'd get fired. I like my statues to be in scale. I don't mind if they're taller as long as they're in scale. Like the actual body size. So, that's my biggest issue with this piece. I have no qualms with the base, the swap outs, the details, or anything like that. It's the size. Also, I guess you could say the price. So, this room is primarily 1/3 scale. And there's a few statues that are 1/4 and non-scale. Like that is technically 1/4. Although when I saw it next to Khaleesi, it kind of feels more 1/3-ish. I don't think it's truly 1/4. I think it's like 1/3 and a half. Like it's not quite 1/3, but it's not 1/4. It's in between. Alien non-scale, however, it's very similar scale to like Dog or my other aliens, like comparing the head size. Obviously, he's like bent over, so he's not as tall, which does work really good for displaying it down low. But as you can see, I basically did that. Brought Big Chap directly next to his butt on the same shelf. Moved the Wayland sign here, alien logo. You got this directly in the middle because this is the only life-size, truly, whatever in this display. To the right, you got Dog, and I posed them like that because it just looks better at that angle. And then you'll notice I actually put the alien props, right there, which works really good behind XM Predator. And I can see it real good. And then this one just in the glass shelf, like so. Where previously I was putting like 1/3 heads. Notice I actually removed all the 1/3 heads. They're all, gone from this display. I like having, heads next to statues. But I only like, I'm probably going to remove those 3 heads. I generally only like one. It needs to be something like this. And I don't know, I just feel like it kind of clutters the display when you display the heads next to it. So it can look good. Like I do like this next to that, but all this is too much. I really need to move all these. And there's also a good reason to not display the heads next to the statue. If you keep them away and you don't see them for, let's say, 6 months, and then you swap it out, it's a refresher for the statue and kind of makes it feel new because you haven't seen a head in 6 months. Where when you're constantly seeing it, it's not as special. So that's one big reason I don't like displaying them. So, I really need to move those two and that and only display the closed mouth bust. And I'm trying to have variety in my Predators where I don't have everything open mouth. Have a closed mouth, you got the closed mouth bust. But, I do have a few different plans, I will say, in terms of Predator and how I kind of want to do it. So, first off, we are going to be selling that Fugitive bust, but I'm actually going to keep the arms. There's no reason to sell those because they look great in the display. And, I would prefer just to keep them. But we are going to sell the Fugitive bust. I actually think Fugitive looks pretty good right there. Like, because it does have a similar, like, paint pattern to the OG. Having the black marks down the middle with the dotted. That looks very similar. I do like the armor. The base is cool. It's a good size, like 30 inches tall. I wish it was bigger, because like that is bigger than this. This is shorter than that. I wish this was bigger than that. Light up cannon. It's a great bust. There is two big issues three issues. This is decals, not hand painted. And I wish they would have painted it instead of decals. Secondly, the eye should have been glass and not a sticker. Thirdly, there's zero vein or, in general, any detail inside this mouth. And when they showed this bust off, those three things were not an issue. It was the production that was the problem. But everything else I actually really like. Like the dreads I like the armor, the base, the cannon. It's actually really nice. It's heavy, and it does look good. Plus, it has the mask, which actually covers all those issues, and I do like the mask quite a bit. For the most part, I have been displaying it masked for the last several years, but when I see it next to the Cinemaquette, I actually prefer it unmasked. So it's still a great bust, no doubt. However, I do want to get a Jungle Hunter bust. Now, unfortunately, Queen Studios has not made one. There's been no announcement of one. Prime One has no indication of doing a life size. I wish they just made that life size, but they didn't. And Prime One doesn't do a ton of life size busts. They're more 1/3 scale, half scale, 1/4. So I can't count on Prime One. Sideshow, the OG one, I think is terrible. It's extremely outdated. It's tiny, not enough body. I'm not a fan of it at all. So there's really only and unfortunately Sume canceled their bus. I actually really liked the Predator bus Sume made. I would have bought that. But there really kind of is only one option when it comes to, if you want a legit Jungle Hunter bust, you gotta go custom. It's the only way. There's lots of customs out there. There's, all those Scott Marshall sculpts with Casey McNabb masks and accessories and some additional body, and it's all assembled by one person. And those are very difficult to get. I've always tried to contact some people hey, can you make me a bust? And they always give me an excuse and they don't want to help out. I tried reaching out to a guy in Canada. He goes by the name of Darren on Instagram, and his bust looks amazing, but he doesn't want to sell to me. And he's just afraid it's going to get damaged in transit. And I'm like, okay. So, I've looked at lots of different options. I've concluded this one is the best one for me, and it is by our good friends at Aliens FX right here. I'm going to show you how this Predator bust kind of works. So there is the head, which, as you can see, has the correct dot pattern, very similar to Prime 1, closed mouth bust. I believe this is an original, Stan Winston sculpt. He actually got the molds. And he doesn't necessarily do glass eyes. He does the same type of eyes my Raptor bust had, which looks like glass eyes. It's some weird material. I forget what it's called, but it's close to glass eyes. It looks nearly the same, And I can have them, change and add detail, but you get that. Then you get this body. Now, this is missing the skulls in this thing, but mine will have all the skulls. So that, it'll have all that. And it does use a pole similar to my last Raptor bust. We will have a base. I'll probably just do some sort of black underbase with some leaves and a Predator logo. So you basically get that, and this body thing is all one piece, and then you also get the gun and a mask. So you get all that. Mine will have a little bit more. I'm also going to get a med kit with it. But, this is Aliens FX, showing you how it's assembled. So yeah, look at that. Quite big. Mine's actually even bigger than this because mine has a little bit more body, a little bit more arm. But there's some, quite a lot of nice things about having the bust like this. You can actually angle the head any way you want. As you can see, the gun can go up and down. It has a mask option. So you get lots of display options, which is great. He has a button for the remote light up right there, and that is a real laser he does install. So, it looks fantastic. The detail looks spot on. It looks really good for sure. I love the fact it has the mask. So it's similar to my Fugitive bust, but it's Jungle Hunter. And mine's going to be a little bit bigger, but he has tons of things on his page. He did a full life-size suit and so forth. Here's a recent Predator bust, and you can see the detail. You know, like check out those eyes, that inner mouth vein work, the teeth. It looks really freaking good. Paint up looks fantastic. You know, there it is. Check that out. You know, it's just missing the dreads. The dreads on these are, you know, foam. That's actually how it was in the movie. So it's 100% movie accurate. And that's how my old wolf bust was. You know, and obviously foam has some pros and cons. It can get damaged extremely easy. You know, it doesn't have like one particular set look. It kind of just drapes down and you can move them as need be. But I didn't mind it on my old wolf bust. Now, I actually really liked that wolf bust. It just had a lot of issues. It was broken. It was just a head, you know, and the guy weren't willing to work with me to fix it, you know. So, yeah, I have concluded, though, that this is the best route for my Predator setup is to get, you know, a bust. That bust. So he is making it for me. I'll have it end of the year. Now the question begs, once I get that, do we sell or keep Prime 1, sell or keep Cinema Cat? That's kind of the big question, because I kind of feel like once I have that bust, that will fulfill my Predator needs. You know, because, I mean, here's the thing. Those two, pretty much the same pose, but Cinema Cat's better. Cinema Cat has a better open mouth. That has better detail, no doubt. This has a better base. It's, you know, has all the skulls and swap outs, which I love. The ability to display a masked Predator, where that one is permanently like that. You can't really do anything. But I'll have the bust if I want the masked look. And the bust if I want the closed mouth look. I don't care to have that look. I just care to have that, and that. Which technically the Cinema Cat will give me all those options. Now if I do Prime 1 there, you know, it's obviously going to look overscaled, like much so more than that alien bust. Or the alien, which is very skinny. You know, like this is taller by a few inches and substantially thicker and just bigger. Where I feel like Cinema Cat scales so perfect. But I'll basically decide that once I get the bust. Who knows? I may just keep all three. You know, and I know a lot of people tell me just go down the Prime 1 rabbit hole and buy all the Predators. That's all fine and dandy, but it's also $20,000 to $25,000 for that line. Substantial amount of space. Doesn't scale with anything. I feel like if you're going to have the Prime 1 Predator line, there's only two ways to display it. One, by themselves. No other statues with it. And you just have the Prime 1 Predator line. Like, let's say you got 5 of them. Boom, perfect. Secondly, you do Prime 1 Predators with life-size busts. And ideally, big life-size busts. That Aliens FX one I showed you, mine is going to be 34 inches plus, let's just say we're going to add a 2-inch base. So we're going to make it 3 feet tall, which is nearly as tall as that. You know, where Cinema Cat's 32 inches. This is 38 inches. So it still wouldn't even be as tall as that. Now, if I was to go down the Prime 1 rabbit hole, of course, I'd get Berserker. I'd love to get Scar. You know, obviously Wolf. So 4 of them. I could only fit 3 right there. Only if I removed Alien could I fit all 4 there. You know, and you could technically, you know, lower XM Alien. That Alien display would have to go mid-room. If you wanted to do 4 Predators in a row, you could keep Wolf Bust in the corner. And we'd probably even have to just remove Pennywise to do the Jungle Hunter bust. But it would be very difficult. It's a lot of money. And also extend me collecting for many, many years, which I'm trying to avoid. So it's definitely a super difficult thing. And I feel like I should just get the Predator bust to replace that and just sell this. Or just keep it and have it as the only one on that wall as the centerpiece to the wall. I will try that. I'm definitely going to try it. Once I get the bust, I'm going to move that, switch it with Cinema Cat, and just see which one I like more on that wall. Because I'm actually still very happy with Cinema Cat. I think it's a grail. I freaking love that piece. But there's no doubt this is better. You know, there's no doubt. When I compare the two and I constantly go back and forth between them, looking at the, you know, micro details here and there, the paint up here and there, the material, this is definitely superior. There's just a few things I like more about Cinema Cat. The scaling, the dreads, the LED system in that. I like the fact it does the countdown and disappears better. I like the pose better. You know, and some of the colors I prefer a little bit more on that. But anyways, folks, that's kind of my, situation with the alien and predators. I'd really like to just, get that Aliens FX and have it satisfy my jungle needs and just sell this. If we can make that happen, because we are going to get Prime 1 Vampirella to go with Red Sonja, and ideally I'd like to put that mid-room. This is too big for mid-room. I'd like to put, like Vampirella is not very tall, but should be better, not on the ground. Red Sonja is tall, but not this tall. So she would go really good right there. So if we could do like Vampirella, Red Sonja, boom. That would look really good. I'd be able to see the whole AVP wall right now because, Vampirella's like this tall. So I'd just look over her a little bit and I'd see the whole wall perfectly. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, of the whole Predator and Alien setup. I mean, if I could just get another room, I'd buy every one of these because they're so good. And it's a shame to ever even consider selling it. But it's just like, it's the same issue with Hulkbuster, the scaling. Like, I don't sell Queen Hulkbuster because I don't like it. I don't like the detail. I sell it because it's overscaled. And it doesn't work with my other Marvel One Force. And this is the exact same scenario. I would sell this simply because it looks too big next to all my other statues. I guess, that's just me with my OCD. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As far as this upcoming week's statues, there's a few potentials. I'm still waiting on, some to actually ship. But I will say I'm hopeful I will get Night King, which will go there. Prime 1 Nemesis, which will go next to Jill. Like those two, potentially even the Infinity Studios Giga Bust, potentially, probably not. But, those two, maybe even Infinity T-Rex Bust, and maybe even Vampirella, maybe Kong Bust. I don't know. I'm like trying to, see things out. Anyways, I'll let you guys know, if they are going to be arriving in my Facebook group. So make sure you join that. See you in the next one. Have a great day.